All right, listen, you get to see the behind the scenes stuff. So when we go to a break, we're still live on YouTube. You know, you can't hold us.
It skipped that song.
Did it? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
deleted it. Must be a bad file. All right.
We're going live. Just point at me when we're ready. I'll make up
All
something.
right. Here we go.
All right. You know what time it is? It's Howdy Doody time. No, it's the world according to Mike. I'll tell you, yeah, you got to be old if you've ever watched that show. Hey, it's Wednesday night. It's Just for Fun Radio. It's Military Mike. I got, I think it's his last week. He got fired last week, but he came back this week to help. He got Xander Mack from Tech Talk on Tuesday nights. Too bad we couldn't get the other Danny, his co-host.
She, I said I would. Sorry, I get up in my mic.
Yeah, just play.
I
your
said
phone.
I
It's
would
okay.
post a Hangouts link for her, and she would keep an eye out for it. I guess I need to do that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great because she smells a lot better than you. And then tonight we have some returning guests. We have now. See, I said Danielle and Pat. Kelley. You see what I'm saying? It theoretically, to do it right, it should be Pat and Danielle Kelley, right? Aren't you supposed to say? Aren't you supposed to say the guy's name first?
But that's in the context of Mr. and Mrs. Patrick Kelley.
Yeah. Damn. See.
And
now you're starting to find out why I'm not invited to a lot of places.
Well, and you've probably not been to enough military balls.
Well, I mean, I have a set of balls, and I was an officer, and but I got to tell you, as a warrant officer, whenever there's any type of military function, you generally show up drunk, and then
that's expected.
then you get
it's the chief. He's drunk again.
yeah. Then you drink while you're there, and usually at least, and we used to draw lots. You have at least one warrant officer has to smack his wife at the party. It's a given. But hey, so Mr. and Mrs. Pat and Danielle Kelley. No, it should just be Mrs. and Mrs. Pat, right? Or Patrick.
Mike, you can go ahead and put me first because you know he's going to make sure that I always come first.
See, with you, I got to be careful because I know exactly where that could go. Because I could say, "Oh,
what do you
Patrick,
mean exactly where that could go? It already went there. You just missed the train."
Patrick, I know that you're always going to let Danielle come first. So then I'm going to look over the top of the monitor and go, "Yeah, I know exactly what she means because it's Danielle." So the president and CEO of the Foxhole Support Network are with us again tonight. And I had to call in the big guns because today on the morning show, I was filling in, and that's never a good sign. But I was filling in, and some of the topics got women related. And, well, quite frankly, there's no women on the morning show. I'm joking. There's Denise and Redneck Steph, so they'll be yelling at me later. So the discussions started, you know how discussions can kind of
snowball.
I wasn't going to say snowball.
Why are we always talking about balls?
Yeah, really. Because it's a man show. Now, I was going to say
it's snow cubed.
I was going to say more like menstruated into. But so the topic started getting that way. And I figured, wow, when you said you quit your job today and you'd love to come out, I was like, hey, that'd be perfect.
I got nothing better to do.
Nothing. Wow. So basically, I'm the Janet Reno of things to do on a Wednesday night.
Are you the Janet Reno of Reno 911?
Yeah, I'm the Janet Reno. I'm the fourth choice for Supreme Court justice. No, it's we ran out of. Damn, we don't have anybody else to pick. We don't have anything else to do.
Somebody get the janitor.
Yeah, really. I see that you took her out for a nice dinner, though. That was nice.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah, top notch. The big golden arches.
Yeah.
So Xander, not Alexander. That sounded weird. Xander, how was?
That is technically my name.
I know. I just, how we try to maintain that anonymity.
Yes, that word. Yeah, we definitely try to anonymity.
No, but what I was going to say was, how was the show last night? I didn't have an opportunity to watch it.
My show was fantastic last night.
Did anybody call in and give you a hard time?
No.
Oh, well, I'll make sure I'm there next week to do it. I was in a bad way yesterday. Does that make sense?
Drunk or
Well, always. That reminds me, I don't have a beer, but I've got a gun and a monster, so it balances out. No, my banking account got hacked.
I saw that.
oh, dude, that happens to me all the damn time.
Oh yeah, I saw your post. It just kind of it makes you feel so vulnerable.
Yeah.
300 freaking pounds, right? I feel vulnerable.
So was it somebody got your number and bought a bunch of stuff online?
No, you know what? It's kind of weird because a company called Prepay or Payday 24/7, okay, which I don't have any idea who they are.
Okay.
Right.
They pinged me for $1. Okay, and then they refunded me because here's how it was explained to me by the cyber experts. Okay, when you're spending money, there's tons and tons of like checks and balances.
Right.
Okay, this was no, not that one. There's another one, and it fills like phones with minutes is what it was. So it might have been prepay, something like that. Okay, so here's the thing: is when you're spending money, there's all sorts of checks and balances. But when a company is refunding money to you, there's not a lot of checks and balances. They figure out you're doing a solid for somebody. Okay, so what the company did was they charged me $1. Then they refunded me $1. Then they had the freaking floodgate open and just raped me like a good-looking redhead.
That sucks.
Like, yeah, it was like dollar day at a French whorehouse, buddy.
Were you dressed provocatively?
I was, and we will discuss that later. But here's the thing: is that it went from me catching it, okay, the same day that happened, me calling Bank of America, having to wait on hold for an hour, getting pissed off, hanging up, calling back later. Because it's amazing that whenever I'm calling, they're experiencing high volumes of calls.
Yeah.
It always seems to be me.
Two is high volume for that one person who's never sitting down at the desk.
Thank you for calling Bank of America. No, I can't rag on them. They really did good today. But then later on that day, I received an email that said suspicious activity. Your card's been frozen. And then I looked at it and holy smokes. They raped me. I mean, they literally Tel Aviv, Seattle, China, Paris. It was just like, hey guys, we got an account with money in it. Go for it.
It's crazy. It happened to me probably 3 times last year.
Damn.
Now the new Bank of America app has added a feature where you can lock your card. So
isn't that cool?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't tried it yet, but I think I'm just going to lock it. Danielle logged on, by the way.
Oh, did you? Hey, Danielle, you there? Hey, sweetie. I'm waving at the monitor. I don't know. Where does she come in? Where does she see me from? Hey, here's the thing though. Clark Howard says you should freeze your credit. Okay. If you're not using your credit, freeze it.
Right.
Mine's already been frozen a long time ago.
Yeah. Frozen for non-payment is different. No, so he says freeze it if you're not using your credit, then freeze it. If you go to buy something big, car, house, whatever, then unfreeze it. I checked into that. It's like $10. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Okay, so Bank of America, they do. You can go to their mobile app and you can just throw a little enable, disable button. And it restricts your card until you're ready to use it. Now, that was pretty cool. So I went and, of course, we went line by line. Everything's being refunded. It wasn't a claim because we caught it in time.
Right.
So I don't have to wait too long. But, of course, I had to surrender the card that I had. They chopped it up, which is no good anymore anyways. They gave me a temporary card today, which was very cool. Activated it. Then the lady, Wanda, she's been there. I've been a member of Bank of America since 1990. So they've lived through a couple deployment type things and all that other stuff. They've always been pretty cool with me. She goes, look, I'm going to make a suggestion. Apparently you never carry cash. I'm like, I really don't. Everything with a debit card, Yeah. And so she goes, look, why don't, you're already a preferred customer, blah, 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 whatever the scheme is. So she got me a credit card. Okay. Now this is what's really cool. Is she looked at the balances on 2 of my other cheapo credit cards and she goes, look, you're paying like 25 and 27%. One's Best Buy, Christmas time, you got older kids, your ass is shopping at Best Buy. You can't go to Walmart no more. You got to go freaking Best Buy. Yeah. So, I got a little money on those. So she goes, look, we're gonna transfer these balances over to your Bank of America preferred Visa card, zero interest
financing
for a year. And I'm like, damn. And she goes, look, I can't say yay or nay, but cancel these, chop them up. You don't need them. You're paying insane amount of money.
Yeah, you're paying an insane amount of money. Not only that, if you ever need to purchase and make a big purchase, i.e. a car, a house, or something like that, they see that as an open revolving credit, and it actually makes ticks against you.
Really?
Yes. So before you buy a house or anything like that, the first thing you're supposed to do is go out and cancel all of your credit cards for 3 to 6 months beforehand.
Really? I've never heard that before. But I can assure you of one thing. I'm poor. Mm-hmm. You know how some people say I'm one paycheck away from being homeless?
Yeah.
I'm homeless now. In fact, you're sitting in my bed. So, it's.
Well, I won't fart in it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I do. Yeah. You remember a fart sack? How long did we call sleeping bags fart sacks? I went in the military in 1982. From 1982 to I retired in 2013. 28 years I've been calling it a fart sack. And, when we first got back from Afghanistan, I had a little issue about sleeping in a bed. I was still in the fart sack. And people were like, dude, why do you have a sleeping bag? And it's like, that's a fart sack. And they're like, what?
That's the best look ever is when you tell a civilian, I got to grab my fart sack.
Yeah. I never knew them to be anything other.
Yeah.
Fart sack. Oh, man. And the new ones are awesome. You can zip that thing up and fart in there and literally hold it like. You'll
never breathe it. You'll never breathe it yourself.
Apparently, the world, according to Mike, is creepy and boring.
Yeah.
All right.
and well,
but full of nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a nostalgia. See, she called me. Wait, that means I'm old.
Nobody wants to hear that. But
that's
nobody wants to hear that, Mike.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Nobody. I've seen 4 viewers tune out since you started.
That is just not true.
Since you started talking about.
And those are just your friends because
sacks.
You probably gave them the heart, the high signal and said, just log on and then log off.
Yeah.
Make a long story short, I had a great experience at shut up. I had a great experience at Bank of America, and Wanda was great, and I'm going to give her a great big 10 when her survey comes out. And so there, Bank of America, they treat you right. What's the slogan for Bank of America? Who cares, right? So I'm not going to ask him. I'm not even going to talk to his ass. So how you been?
Well, I quit my job today.
You too?
We were both driving the truck. Well, I was driving the truck. He was with me. And we just both walked out on the job today.
Okay. Let's give the scenario. First off, we're in Peachtree City. Okay. The station that we operate out of is in Fayetteville. Most of the patients that we run live in Griffin.
Now, when you say patients,
we do ambulance transport.
Oh, okay.
So we're hanging out in Peachtree City.
You're a medic, so that just like works together.
Yeah. So we're hanging out in Peachtree City, 9-10 miles west of Fayetteville. Mm-hmm. Griffin is another 20 miles east of Fayetteville. Yep. Okay. And we get this message of go to Jackson, which is another 20 miles past Griffin and pick up a patient and get them to their chair early. Well, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, by the time we get there and get them to their chair, they're going to be on time. They're going to be at their normal time, not their early time.
Best case scenario, huh?
Right. So I said, are you kidding me? We're still in Peachtree City. Yeah. Y'all are the only ones available. So
5 trucks on the road today.
Yeah. 5 trucks on the road today. So we drive back to Fayetteville because, from Peachtree City to go to Griffin and Jackson, you can go. That's
a clip.
Yeah. As we're pulling by, we noticed that the whole parking lot is full of all the trucks.
Everybody's in Fayetteville.
So all the trucks came from Griffin back to Fayetteville. So we pulled in, and the 24-hour truck was just now backing in to their parking spot. So I walked in and I said, I'm not going to make a big stink about this, but why are we going from Peachtree City to Jackson to get a patient to go back to Griffin when you had all these trucks in Griffin? Yeah. Well, no, they had to come back here and eat lunch.
Oh, well, there you go. That's
Like, what the hell do they think we were going to do?
that's a viable excuse.
You know, I was like, well, that makes no sense at all. And she's like, well, I'm not going to argue about it. And I said, you're right. Neither am I. And we went down, got our stuff out of the truck, and got in the car and went home.
Well, good for y'all.
And she had to worry about how to handle the rest of the patients for the rest of the day, because now she's got a truck that's got to drive to Griffin and run patients, to drive all the way out to Peachtree City to run a patient. And
I wonder if they're going to be on time.
You know what? Wait a minute. Oh,
yeah, or alive.
Yeah. If you look real hard, you can see a tear, but
yeah.
you gotta
Wait a
closer.
minute. That was dust.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a really dumb question, because as you were saying this, I thought of one thing. Are you guys the only military or former military team driving?
Team? Yes.
Okay.
There's maybe
There's
two or three fire service military.
You know what I found as during my couple of breaks in service, or when I was reserve and then I was National Guard as well, is I found out that I got treated like, well, crap, because come on, dude, you were a soldier. It's like, whoa, time out.
I think
first off, we deal with logic and common sense.
This woman does not like me at all. She, since the day that I started.
Well, I could see that.
Well, it was only because when she would tell me something retarded, I would let her know. It's retarded. Sorry. Bye. I can't hang with that. I have no sympathy for stupid.
But now I got to ask you this. Okay, you brought it up. So, but in the military, if somebody above us with more rank told us something retarded,
I put in 6 years of that. I'm done with that.
Yeah, okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, you remember what you said?
I finally got to E7 and was like, you know what? I get to tell other people that it came from above me. I'm just passing the information on.
He finally got to tell us retarded stuff.
And he did. Yeah. Ask him about the peach milkshake sometime.
Oh, well, I don't know if we'll have enough time before the break, but yeah, it's kind of amazing. I, as a former soldier or as a citizen soldier, I always got told, "Oh, dude, suck it up, man. I thought you were a soldier. I thought you were this." And I was like, "Yeah, but we're not in that right now. And two, you wouldn't make it through in processing, So, how we looking there, Xander?
Yeah, we need to go to a break.
All right. Well, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that has been pretty volatile in the newspapers. We're going to talk about sexual harassment and rape. We'll be right back. This is World According to Mike. Boom, boom.
Scott took all of the music out of your playlist. I just noticed.
I believe it.
The
video
come
seems
with my own
choppy.
Yeah, I looked on YouTube and it seemed fine.
Okay, so it's just here. It does. That's our computer. Oh, yeah, man. I got so sick and tired of that crap. The last place I was working, the district manager.
Danny, go ahead. Talk to me. Danielle.
Her name's Danielle, too.
Okay, I can't hear you one bit. Hold on.
He told me I had to use my personal time.
I don't know if it's you or me that's muted, but I can't hear a word you're saying. Hold on.
Federal laws against this.
I had the same issue when I worked in DeKalb County, because I was
barely
during my
okay. I'll go back on my Bluetooth.
Hold on. Now I hear you.
To a hurricane before Katrina.
Yeah, but for some reason, now I'm hearing everybody over every microphone.
Deployments. And they said, well, you need to make up your mind. One of the captains said, you need to make up your mind whether you want to play soldier or you want to play firefighter. I said, are you kidding me? He says, yeah. The other captain sitting there, the other captain I had respect for. He said, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead. Let me hear you, Deb.
Hello.
Okay, I hear you now.
Is it like normal or?
Now it is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although hang on, damn it. Press the wrong button. Keep talking though so I can tune your EQ.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Testes. Oh wait, we're on mic show. Testing.
Okay, we're gonna call that good.
You,
said, this is for protection. Yeah, a little eager. It's fired. I got the regional.
Are you there, Al? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. You're sounding good. I'm trying to sort out the mics here. Everybody's bleeding over the other. But I think I may have it. I think I may have it
violate
set.
federal law with your policy.
You cannot take away from federal law. You can, but you can add to it.
There's no way to add to it.
Federal law.
Unless you're saying, unless you say we will pay you when you go to drill without,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
we'll pay you your regular rate.
Told you.
What's going on your end?
Oh, can you hear that? Sorry, I'm printing something.
Oh,
That
that's
wouldn't
you.
be.
That's funny.
The dogs are downstairs barking. Kurt just got home. He was out riding snowmobiles.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm just printing one. That stupid microphone that I bought for my kitties is going back to Amazon. So I'm
right.
printing a label. Yeah, I'm very disappointed.
And
That's,
But you know, my kitty headphones are probably created in some
Corn cob.
Taiwanese sweatshop.
with
Hey, that's my son.
So she brings it up on her.
Ay. It's there. That one. All right. Well, hopefully that's everybody sorted out now. Are you getting robbed?
Am I getting robbed?
Yeah, sounded like
No,
someone breaking in over there.
No, it's my printer. It's out of paper, so I'm going to leave it alone, but it keeps searching for paper.
Oh, gotcha.
It doesn't stop in a second. I'm going to have to. Or you might actually be hearing Kurt and the boys downstairs. Okay, that seems to have stopped. Yeah, Kurt came and picked up my phone and took it to get the screen fixed, even though I told him they had to order it. So he brought it back and went and did some running around. He's like, screw this working thing. I'm going snowmobiling. So
Absolutely.
he's been out on the trails.
Damn it. I wonder why Scott took all the songs out of this playlist.
That's weird.
All right. Let's get rid of that one.
That's okay. I was threatening and intimidating at my job and carrying firearms into the fire station.
That.
I got jail beat. I went to jail for arresting bitch face.
All right. I don't know. Hopefully that's good.
I was arrested for having resting bitch face. Court read that I looked. My report reads that I looked at a woman in a threatening manner. When the police got there, she was shaken and feared for her life. I never.
say one more thing, Danielle?
Hello.
Okay, that's all. That's all I needed.
Okay.
Mike, ready? I'm just trying to get all the.
I'm just screwing with.
Anyway, 3, 2.
And we're back. It's the world according to Mike, and I got to tell you, we were sharing some stories while Xander was working on the technical aspect of it, and Danielle, it's going out over the air. Not you, Danny. Danny, you're adorable with your little ear headphones, you cutie pie. Look at that beautiful smile. Good Lord.
All right,
Girl next door. Oh man, the girl next door. She has my heart. But the Danny here in I can't say that the Danny here has my heart as well.
She'd shoot you, or her husband would shoot you.
Yeah, her husband's sitting right next to me. So, but I have to talk about the Danny here for a moment. She revealed something extremely personal, and I'm going to put her on the spot, and I hope you're ready for this.
Ready.
All right. So from what I understand, you were arrested for looking at a woman.
I was arrested for looking at a woman in a threatening manner in the state of Florida and went to jail for arresting bitch face.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I would give money for that police report. I swear to God, I'd pay to have that thing framed.
I will fax you a copy.
That would be... Did they take pictures, or was there a body cam filming or anything?
The next morning, I went before the judge, to get arraigned, and the judge looks at me and says, he reads the paperwork out loud and says, "Okay, you've been brought in for looking at a woman in a threatening manner." He goes, "Can you tell me what that looks like?" And I said,
"Okay, you're going to jail for looking at a judge in a confusing manner."
It's like, I don't know, Judge. I must just look mean.
Wow.
I didn't even see her. I had no idea she was even there.
So she was noticeably shaken?
Yeah, but she also did crack. So I'm pretty sure the shaking had something to do with that.
I know. Every time I do crack, I shake. That is just crazy. The judicial system. Beautiful
thing.
Recently at our place out there, I had to deal with law enforcement, and it was we just got a message that came in. They're laughing out loud. Is over arresting bitch face. And oh my God, he just brought look at that face.
You did not pull up that picture.
He is showing who is.
It's only you.
I'm not sure. I was upset. I was visibly upset.
Oh my God, look at this. Xander.
This is like the worst. This is why I can't go into politics.
That is a good looking mugshot right there. That's brilliant.
Wow.
When was
I
that?
was not the first one to break this. A friend of hers actually broke this on Facebook.
This was in 2000, I think. Or 2005.
2005,
nice.
Yeah. Wow. Naples, Florida. This reads like a reality show, man.
It was horrible.
I love the documentary on it. Who is Danielle Nicole McCreet? Was Danielle Nicole McCreet arrested? Can you send me that picture?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Probably not a good idea.
What side of the bed want to stay warm tonight? Oh, my side.
Oh. Instead of my dog.
You don't sleep with her, I do.
Yes. Yeah. Not anymore. No. So this morning on the morning show, okay, there was an article that was brought up, and you know what? I never like really saying names and stuff like that on the radio. I just, other than Xander, because he's usually giving me hell about something. But this young lady had accused 4 guys of raping her, and it wasn't true. So the question was, should she be charged with a felony? Basically falsifying a police report. So I want to open up the table with that, because my opinion of it is it doesn't really matter. Is there a male and female block on the report? I mean, that dictates whether it's illegal or not.
Well, I want some more details about the claim, first of all. Did they did anything occur?
Okay, and see, you know, I don't that leaves it up to further discussion. It was determined that it was falsely reported. Okay, so I'm taking that off the table because that's not the argument. The argument is, should that woman be charged with a felony for falsifying a police report, not whether they were drunk and somebody got handsy.
Well, if it is a, purely false claim,
completely determined to be false,
and there was nothing, then yeah, of course she should be charged. But that's why I really want to know the circumstances. I didn't hear Scott talking about it this morning. I was in a meeting and missed the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I asked the question later on into the conversation, are we talking about, for example, a withdrawn consent situation where, do you know what that is? Let's say everybody gets a bit boozy the night before and there's consent. And then the next morning, the one party says, "Oh, I made a mistake," and still presses charges. That's a thing. It's called. It's called a thing. It's a thing called withdrawn consent. And I'm wondering if it was.
No, that's called regret.
But legally, it's withdrawn consent.
Okay, but if it is a case of that, would it? I mean, she still falsified the document.
Well, no. I mean, if it actually follows the legal definition of withdrawn consent, and she filed charges, but then a court or an investigation determined that no, it's not a case of withdrawn consent, then now I'm not saying I agree with withdrawn consent. Yeah, one way or the other. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying though is if this is what that was, and a court determined no, we find no legal basis for that claim, therefore we're letting these people go, then no, I do not believe she should be charged with a crime. If she just made up a story and it was pure fiction, kind of like a Mike story, then yes, I believe she should be charged with a crime.
Okay.
It all comes down to circumstances. Obviously, we don't want to encourage people falsifying claims and trying to get people locked up.
Yeah, I think we should all, I mean, we all understand that we're decent people and we're all going off of the whole, obviously this is, falsely accusing someone of rape is a serious issue. Rape is a serious issue, which we'll end up talking about here in a bit, I'm sure, because that's the way this leads into it. And, but here's my thing is that why would it even be in question? I mean, the way the article read was, it was determined to be false. The information was false. Why would it even be in question whether she should be charged? It just seems like that should just go right through, just like anything else.
I don't know. Maybe we should give this a thought to all the other different types of crimes. Like, so let's say I go out and I rob a grocery store, and the next morning I feel really bad about it, so I go back to the grocery store and give them all their crap back. I'm withdrawing consent, Your Honor. I don't want to go to jail.
Listen, I'm not arguing for or against withdrawn consent. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I agree with it or I don't. But there's a reason she's not being charged, and it obviously has to do with the circumstances of her encounter with these four men. That's why I really would like to know more about the situation before in this particular case, before making a judgment. However, if it was purely fictional and she just made it up in order to try and get people into trouble, then of course she should be charged.
The courts are afraid to jump on this bandwagon of charging women because they're afraid that women are not going to come forward anymore.
Report rapes, exactly.
There's a big problem with that. There's a lot of women who don't report rapes anyway. And it's because of the stigma that goes with it. It's because of all of the other embarrassments that go with it as a female.
Yeah,
I have been raped twice.
Women are, it's almost like they're publicly shamed.
Because it happens.
Yeah, the stigma is there, and it's designed to make women feel ashamed of themselves because they were victimized. It's pathetic.
Well, sometimes you don't even, it takes, the first time it was my ex, and I knew what was going on, and it was a forced situation.
Right.
And where I had no choice but to give in to his demands. The second time I was drugged, and it took me days to even really realize what had happened to me. And by that time, there's no evidence of it.
And by no means was that the reason for having you here tonight or anything else like that? I don't want you to think that you're being put on the spot.
No. I'm advocate all the way for it. Not for rape, but
you're such a nut job.
I know.
Okay, so and for some reason, I mean, I had the report up. It's a blonde-headed woman. She's right there, and I can't find the doggone article again.
There are a lot of women who use this as a tool.
Well, I mean, okay, for celebrities and stuff like that. You've heard these things.
Not even for celebrities to get ahead in jobs. All you have to do is women will pull whatever. Let me just give you a bottom line right here. Women are batshit crazy. All of us. Every single one of us. There's not a one, and the ones that tell you that they're not are the ones you run from as fast.
Oh yeah,
as
no,
you can.
you're right.
There's
all
different levels.
All women are batshit crazy. However, the women. Here's what women are not. Women are not property. They're not toys to be messed around with. You were discussing this morning. They were talking about the way women dress,
right?
And my point to that, and they were saying, it's almost like they're gagging for it. They're asking for it, and that's bollocks. That's a male mentality thing.
No, that's a woman's mentality.
I can't.
Wow.
I don't believe that. I don't believe dressing a certain way.
When I put on a shirt that shows off my cleavage, it's because I want every man in this room to look at my cleavage.
Sure, but does that mean you want every man in this room to rape you?
No, but I have to accept the responsibility for myself of what could happen. That's the problem that we have in America. The biggest problem we have right now is that nobody wants to accept self-responsibility. They want to blame it on everything else. Oh, it was the shirt, it was the gun, it was the knife, it was everything but what I did.
Listen, I understand that. And I do get that. And in most cases, I got to say, I agree with you. If you do something that costs you money, don't do it again. But if you do something and then claim that it got you raped, or not you, obviously, I'm saying in general, if somebody does something and then a third party or a jury or, a prosecutor decides, oh, well, that's what got her raped. That's a problem. Rapists
are opportunists. And if a female will put herself in the trifecta of what what their target is, you put a woman in provocative clothing. Mm-hmm. That's fine. She can be provocative clothing, but don't go ahead and get yourself drunk to the point where you can't be in control of yourself.
I agree. Some personal responsibility comes into it. And people make that mistake a lot.
That's not to say that every woman that gets dressed in a mini skirt and is
absolutely
looking for that.
I agree, but that was, that's kind of where the conversation went this morning. It was almost like a consensus that if they dress that way and they act that way, then it's going to happen.
The comment that was made was you don't rub blood all over a chicken, throw it out in the backyard, and expect a coyote not to attack it.
Right.
But we're doing this as adults. I want my listeners to understand we're doing this as adults. We're not. Nobody here condones this, but I think something extremely important just happened. Is you were very upfront and very truthful about wearing a provocative outfit, and to Xander over here, he still, even though you're a woman and you said it, you admitted it, you spoke it, he still doesn't believe you.
No,
I'm just saying that, but that's the difference in mentality.
That mentality changes as you get older, because I'm a reconformed slut. I will admit it. I had my days. My husband knows it. We've discussed this.
He's only a slut for me now.
So she's an exclusive. Okay.
So I had my days, and that's
we all did.
I dressed because I wanted that attention, and I got that attention. I haven't always been a pudgy.
Well, the first thing is and I agree with my wife in what she says, that if you dress provocatively and you put yourself out there, you're not doing it to get raped.
Right.
That's not your intent. Right. Your intent is to attract attention. Yeah. Now it may attract unwanted attention. It's like it's like people who run around on the open carry days, and they're stupid when they go walking into Home Depot and Lowe's and all with their ARs and AKs strapped across their back. I'm like, you're attracting more some unwanted attention.
You ever seen, like, in a rainy day, a guy goes ripping by you on a crotch rocket?
Yeah.
Okay. And you sit there and you go, okay, dude, look, I love motorcycles just as much as everybody else, but I'm not going to take the crotch rocket out on a rainy day and just go flying around people. So
the other aspect of it too is if the men have been brought up properly, then that's not an issue.
Wow. Where are we on a commercial? Because
we got a few minutes.
Okay.
And I agree with that, because I said
the other thing too is this is from Justia U.S. law. This is 161020, which is a Georgia code, crimes and offenses against public administration and related offenses, false statements and writings, concealment of facts and fraudulent documents, blah, 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 blah. It is punishable when you make a false allegation. That's a false statement. Mm-hmm. So, and according to this, be punished by a fine of not more than $1,000. Oh, whoop-de-doo.
Well, that would be a misdemeanor.
Not more than 1,000. However, or by imprisonment for not less than 1, no more than 5 years, or both.
That's a misdemeanor.
Now that doesn't make it a misdemeanor anymore.
Because of the 5 years.
Because you're because 1 year and 1 year with not less than 1 year, that now puts you into. But it's a felon. It's like a Class D felony. It's not like
Right, and
somebody's
depending
going
on
to petition it 10 years from now, and it's going to go away.
Depending on the circumstances, she either should or should not be charged.
Right.
However, I'm not aware of the circumstances.
The thing, I'm not aware of the circumstances either.
What you said about being raised the right way is absolutely true, though. If you look at communities right now where a lot of refugees are being brought in, you can watch the increase in rapes.
Right,
and that's because
violent crime, period.
Right, because they're raised
to believe. What Poland did.
Well, they're raised to believe women are property.
Right.
And they can do whatever they want with them.
Now,
and some men in this country have that same opinion.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, though, too, is if you don't punish her, then what you're saying is that women can make that same accusation without facing recourse. So we need to strike a balance. When I was in the military, I went in 87. The pendulum totally swung to the point of, if she says you raped her, you're going to be court-martialed and dishonorably discharged. It didn't matter if you walked in there with 10 witnesses saying, no, he was at the bar with me. There was no way he could have done it. You were going to be dishonorably discharged. But
obviously,
then it swung back. It swung back so far to the other direction is that women had to come in with 5 witnesses, sworn statements, and everything else. And I think they've kind of narrowed that pendulum swing down to where there needs to be some sort of credibility to this. There needs to be witnesses. We need to investigate completely.
Well, nobody actually witnesses this stuff.
Well, but on the military aspect, there may not be as much, but there's still that group mentality.
Yeah, but it needs to be treated like any other crime. It needs to be investigated like any other crime. There shouldn't be a presumption of guilt or innocence on either side until it's been investigated. If there's enough to bring charges, then you bring charges. If they find it is a completely false claim and there was no interaction whatsoever between this girl and the 4 guys, then absolutely, yes, she ought to be charged with a crime.
What if there was some interaction between them?
Well, then they're going to have to look at the circumstances. And this is what I'm saying. There's a reason she's not being charged.
And where does this, okay, yes, I want to have sex with these 4 guys. And we're in the middle of it. And you know what? I really don't want to have sex with these 4 guys anymore. Wait a minute.
It's withdrawn consent, and I'm not saying I buy into it. I'm just saying
I don't buy into that. I mean, there's you if you went in with the intent, then it's like when
it turns into rape as soon as she says no.
As soon as she says no, that's it.
It's over, right?
We have to go to a break.
Okay, I tell you what. When we come back, you brought up a great point about how one of you did about how guys are raised. And that's really important because it does lead to treating women like property and defending their honor, whether we should or not. We'll be right back. It's The World According to Mike. Woo! Anybody else like one?
No, I can't drink.
Thank you.
I'm afraid I'll get raped.
Oh, Danny, you are a girl. You can jump in. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, she did put on her good robe today.
Look, this coming from somebody who was naked in the car about an hour before we got here.
Pictures to prove it.
So I can't believe I did that.
She's all upset. We're at the house. She can't find any clothes to wear. I said, baby, and I went around. I looked, maybe there was a pair of jeans hidden somewhere. So I didn't find anything. So I walked in and I said, I'll tell you what, baby.
So we headed to the Walmart.
So we made our way to the Walmart. And she picked out a few things, and she went in the dressing room, tried them on, came out, and she decided that there was one pair of jeans that would fit, and the shirt.
You don't understand, man. When you get to this size, you got to do that sumo move just to get into the jeans.
Yeah. So she decided we're now on the road driving here, and I'm not going to take the big 4-lane with all the red lights. I jumped over on one of the side streets, 2-lane road. It's not bad. Well, she decides that she's going to change while we're driving down the road. And she had bought a new bra. And she slipped out of the seatbelt and then buckled it behind her so that it wouldn't continue to chime. Right. And she strips off the top half and she puts her bra on and she buckles it and she says, "Oh, damn it." And I look over and she had buckled the bra, but had buckled the seatbelt strap was in between her and the bra. So I immediately grabbed the phone and go to the camera and just start bashing the button to take pictures. And so I was like, got to get one of them.
So much for that defending the female thing.
I know.
So
that'll piss you off.
I got it. What I'm trying to do now is get songs back into your playlist to where your last segment finishes at 9. And
I'm sorry, guys.
Which one is that?
The one about the lady. I thought I had it saved.
There we go.
Stuff on a tablet. There is one.
Right.
Got to be witnessed by 7 men.
In which there's probably 12 there.
It's a gang rape.
Yeah.
Jeez. But they're crazy over there, man. They what was it? Not last year, but 2 years. Stupid. I mean, they were raping girls on buses. Yeah, gang
But
raping
did
girls
you?
on-
I don't know. However, you are still on YouTube, so you can keep the mic up to your mouth.
I know, but we're just,
Did you see what Poland did?
no, I did not.
There was like 20,000 Syrian refugees that were demonstrating, and 90,000 Poles showed up, commenced an ass whooping, and then threw them off the bridge into the river. Now, do you know how cold it is in Poland in December, January?
I've got the story. WMBF News. She recanted her story.
Is that what it was? Okay. Yep. South Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then yeah, she should be charged.
Yeah. She if she made an official statement, which is irony because
Police report,
right, the police report. Did you see a couple of weeks ago a Metro Atlanta County a police officer was accused by the firefighters, Stone Mountain police officer was accused by firefighters of harassing them and calling them names and being rough with them and all that. So they made these official police statements and everything like that. And they said, okay, are you sure these statements are the truth and the gospel and all? And they were like, oh yeah, this is it. You know, he beat us up. He pushed us. He called us names and blah, 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 blah. And so then they pulled out
Did you read the story?
they pulled out the the officer's chest cam, his body cam, and
let's assume
yeah,
they charge her.
there wasn't a single thing.
Do they just are they forget?
They should.
Well, but let's assume they charge her, and let's assume the next time she is actually genuinely
What you haven't seen in
raped,
the news,
but it's on
is
her
the
record that
number of
she
police
has a
officers
history of
that have been
falsifying
involved in
charges.
shootings with
No one's going to
perpetrators
take a
just this year.
legitimate rape seriously.
5
The
of
story
them
reads that
are not on the news. You know why?
she went to the
Because the
police
body cam
after being drunk on
exonerates
the
the
beach.
shooting.
She said she went for a walk on the
Made it
beach and she was sexually assaulted and raped by 4 men, 4 attackers. She had no idea who they were. So she didn't actually accuse any one specific person. But what's happened is she has now gone home to her husband. He's questioning where her time went, why she spent so much time. She gave him this story, called the police, they filed the report.
Gotcha.
Turns out she intended to meet a coworker to have sex, but that didn't actually happen either.
Yep.
So she was forced to recant her story when there was no.
Yeah. So I said there's a reason she's not being charged, but now in that case, I have no idea why she's not being charged, unless they are thinking about the future and if she is possibly raped in the future.
She was formally charged on Tuesday and booked into the Reuben Long Detention Center.
Okay. Well, there you go. She's been charged.
She has been charged. Okay.
She has been charged.
So, this is the same story, but this is a different. So, head was grabbed. She was pushed face down.
Come up into your mic though, so you have listeners.
So they were seeking an arrest warrant against her for filing a false police report of a felony. So she recanted her story.
And remember the law that I gave you was the OCGA of Georgia, official code of Georgia. So
right.
South Carolina deals with it differently.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Yeah. So why does it say what they charged her with?
No, but see, this isn't the same headline as the one I was reading earlier, because the one earlier was asking a question. This is making a statement, but it was asking a question: should she be charged with a felony?
30 seconds.
So, how many?
30.
Oh, hell yeah, that's one in the felony.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I got the South Carolina law for it too.
Okay, I don't want to. I'm just gonna make a little thing about that.
Well, no. Now that we've asked the question, she's been charged. Let's go over what she can be charged with now in South Carolina.
Because that's just
holy crap.
I imagine it's pretty strict up there.
Yeah, well, Bible
it's actually pretty lengthy.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3.
All right, we're back. It's the world according to Mike, and we're up in Horry County, South Carolina. And this is Military Mike reporting for WMBF. It sounds made up, doesn't it? Where a woman was formally charged with filing a false report after alleging rape by 4 men. So we actually found it. Danny found the article for us. It's a little bit different reporting than what I read earlier, and it's pretty much short and to the point. But she has been charged. They got an arrest warrant for her for filing a false police report of a felony. So I still don't know if she was charged with a felony of falsely reporting. And Patrick's been looking that up real quick. I'm going to go ahead and say her name. It's Taffy Timberly Wheeler. Now look, you know what? Girls named Taffy. All right. Okay. Now I'm not going to say it. See, as soon as I was going to say a joke, I looked over at you, Xander, and you just became disgusted. So I'm not even going to say it. But girls named Taffy should.
So what's the statute in South Carolina, Patrick?
They call it a misdemeanor. They have several levels to this. And basically,
to falsifying a police report?
Yes, there's a misdemeanor for first offense violation if the amount of economic advantage or benefit received is less than $1,000. But there's no economics to it, so it's a misdemeanor for a first offense violation if the amount of the economic advantage or benefit received is $1,000 or more, but less than $10,000.
This is why
it's a felony for the first offense violation if the amount of economic advantage or benefits received is $10,000 or more, but less than $50,000.
The only advantage she was looking for is an excuse for her husband on why she was still out on the beach.
Right. And she was willing to ruin 4 men's lives.
Yeah, now we're back on
the
the
rest of their
radio.
lives.
So go ahead and explain, because people missed our conversation during the break. So let's recap that so people know why you made that statement.
The recap for this story is that this woman had decided that she was going to meet a coworker on the beach for a rendezvous, and in order to explain, I'm being PC.
I was about to say, she's using big words. Freaking what happened to my Danny?
I'm educated sometimes.
Oh my God.
She basically just wanted to sneak out to get laid. And when she had spent too much time on the beach waiting for her boyfriend to show up, she had to go back and explain to her husband where all of this time went. He thought she'd gone to bed. He just assumed that she was being the good wife. And now she had to come up with something. So, oh my gosh, I was walking down the beach. My face was pushed down in the sand. I didn't see my attackers. I was brutally raped. And he called the police. She filed a report. They took the police down onto the beach to the spot where she was purportedly raped, and there was no evidence. Nothing.
Now, but they made arrests, right?
According to this, she never saw their faces.
Okay.
So she could not pick anybody out of a lineup. So they wouldn't have made an arrest, but she filed a police report.
Okay, because the way they were talking about it this morning, these guys' lives were being ruined. I assumed there were. And if that's the case, if it was completely made up, and she said, "Oh, I can't identify them," how the hell did the police come up with 4 suspects?
Exactly.
Because that's what I was about to say. I was about to say,
well,
alleged rape by 4 men.
Yeah, now that brings us to another subject entirely, which is the police concocted evidence against innocent people.
Jesus, they could have been Mexicans.
That's a
whole making a murderer spiel right there.
It was a black man. He took my children. Remember Smith, Psycho Susan Smith?
Yeah,
that killed her kids. Jesus.
Yes.
So, Danny, do you have anything to add?
Me, Danny?
Yeah.
Yes, you, Danny.
About what?
I don't know.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay.
About any of this.
I mean, I think about the conversation before that. I mean, I think as far as Alex, your comment about when women go out scantily dressed, they're not asking to be raped. Of course, I agree with you. I mean, I think that we need to sort of remember that rape is an act of violence, not sex.
Right.
So if a woman goes out dressed like, scantily, whatever, dressed like a slut, whatever, looking for sexual attention, she is not looking to be raped.
Right.
That is not, it doesn't justify a man.
I don't think, it would be seriously hard pressed to say that any woman is going out looking to be raped. I just look, they could be looking for everything else in the world, but to say a woman's going out to be raped is
the rape part of it is a completely separate issue.
Yeah.
As far as
exactly. And I think we need to recognize that and not conflate the two. Like recognize that a conversation about, a woman being scantily clothed and being raped, they're 2 different conversations. Rape is an act of violence. So,
well, no, there's 2 sides to that coin. As far as when you go to the subway, you expect that there is a level of danger. You could be mugged going on a subway in New York City. You know that is potential. So women have to understand that when they dress this way, they have to understand that they are inviting that attention that could lead to this.
Right. And how I said that if the man is raised right, we don't have this problem. And it's also a flip side to the female. If you're, 25, 30 years ago, women didn't dress like this. The mini skirt is and these low rise jeans that give them plumber's crack is a recent deal. My mom going through school wore dresses down below her knees and bobby socks up to her knees, and I mean it's a different time and era, and the whole mentality of the United States with regards to both men and women are changing, and they're not changing in a good way. You know, that they're people are expecting somebody else to raise their child, but then when something happens to their child, it's everybody else's fault, not their own.
Now, taking what you just said, but if we take into consideration what the ladies are saying about it, so it really wouldn't matter what they're wearing.
Well, no,
women in burqas are being raped.
Women in burqas are being raped because they're property in that society.
That mentality.
But like my wife wears different clothes, and I find her attractive in a lot of different clothes, and not everything that she wears is sexually provocative. You know, sometimes there's a lot.
Not everything.
Long ride home, brother.
But the thing of it is, though, is sometimes there's a lot to be said for what you can't see.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
And there's a lot of women with class that know how to dress. My wife can dress up quite a bit. I took her to the Nutcracker. She looked amazing in her gown.
Well, okay, so here let's bring up something. Let's kind of move this along. I tell people all the time, I was floor manager of an adult club for 5.5 years here in Atlanta, the Oasis. Okay, and what happens basically is, you know, the first couple of days that you're working, if you're not a professional, you're gawking. You know, I worked basically, you know, 12 to 14 hour shifts. And you just become desensitized to it. Okay. So you see what I'm getting at is in reality, when we get down to the bottom of this, then we're going to sit there and say, all girls got a set of boobs. They got a butt. You know, right. They have those lady parts. Okay. So honestly, we can't go and say it's all just about wearing something slutty is what's getting them raped. Or now what zebra gets killed when the lioness is hungry? The weak one.
The vulnerable, the visible
one. Yeah.
Vulnerable, yeah.
Okay, so let's be realistic here. They say men think about sex, you know.
Yeah, but the difference between us and a freaking lion killing a zebra is we're human males, and we're able to make that decision.
Right.
But I think Mike's making the point.
Our origin, our DNA, you know?
Well, our DNA is that we're all animals, period. End of sentence.
So. Okay, so let's move on to the property situation, because I think this is important. At the club, I ran into this, I don't know, nightly, hourly, is a guy spends the vast majority of his lame ass paycheck on a Friday night with some girl. The girls know, believe me, they're like, they would come out and they'd go, military, who's got the cash, you know? And I'd say, that dude over there has been buying some expensive drinks, and bam, they go straight for him. Okay, so once the money runs out, the girls usually leave. They're working. They go to another table. I can't tell you how many times I had to grab guys by the back of the neck, sling them out the door, because they felt like, look, I spent $200 on that chick. She could at least sit with me tonight.
I bought her.
Hence, therefore, ergo, exactly. Now, of course, they don't come right out and say that, but yeah,
it's exactly what they think.
It's exactly what they think.
Now, instead of them taking responsibility for their own actions,
right,
and realizing they're a complete dipshit, right, they now feel entitled to something from this person.
That's the problem.
Ergo, the problem with strip clubs.
Well, yeah. I mean, nothing good comes. Believe me, nothing good's going on there. I learned my lesson. But okay, so now that's out in public. Basically, it's a subculture. So that's out on the floor of a club. Now, one of my jobs as floor managers, I ran the VIP rooms. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Yeah, and it does. I mean, just about. I've seen everything. You can't come up with something I haven't seen. You probably can't come up with something I haven't
accepted.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen weird things with condiments and stuff. So here's the thing: is a guy goes back there and he spends huge money. Okay, and when I'm talking about huge money, I saw guys that didn't make $1,000 in a month spend $1,000, because once the girls got them back there, and the waitress has the credit card, every 30 minutes, he's getting charged $250 for the girl. He's getting charged $50 to $100 for the room, and then drinks. And if the girl looks at him and goes, "Oh, well, military Mike's watching out for us. Will you buy him a drink?" And he'll go, "Sure, yeah, go ahead and get military Mike whatever he wants." And she comes up to me and she goes, "What do you want, Mike?" And I go, oh, no, I'll have 4 double shots of, Jack.
Bam.
Yeah. So, that's that we're aching right at about $50 right there. And I could do that to somebody all night long. So the point I'm trying to get is that there something occurs, okay, and these guys truthfully and honestly, now, and you were talking about burqas and all that other stuff, and people that have been in areas where women do work, wear the habibs and the burqas and stuff like that. You know what? I don't really think they're treated like property, and I have numerous Muslim friends, and I can tell you right now is I honestly 100% don't believe that they treat their women like property. But I can tell you this, that there is a subculture there that treats women that they are strictly for having babies. Okay. Because a Muslim family is looking to have 8 children. I mean, that's the number they're shooting for. And it has nothing to do with how much we can afford. Okay. So the woman is a baby machine. Okay. Then they do have girlfriends, and obviously the issue with young boys as well.
And goats.
Goats, whatever. So, and that's a conversation for a different thing. But here, let's talk about that. Is defending one's honor isn't that if I go out with a hot babe, which it don't happen, but if in my younger days, shut up, Xander. So if I go out with a hot babe and some guy goes, woohoo, hey baby, if I get upset, am I not treating the woman like property?
Of course you are.
Are you being sarcastic, you bastard, or are you being serious?
This is a really tough one as a woman, because as a female, I don't need you to get upset at that person.
You were a soldier, Danny. How long were you a soldier?
Okay, we'll talk about somebody who wasn't a soldier. When I was married, I even said this morning, we'd go to bars all the time, and she was perfectly capable of handling a drunk jackass. And only once did she ever look to me to intervene in a situation. And the place where we went, Danielle knows, Barnacles, every bouncer there had their eye on her anyway and had her back.
Now, was it the Barnacles down here on Peachtree Industrial Boulevard?
We went to that
Jimmy
one,
Carter.
mainly at Jimmy Carter. But every woman is capable of dealing with a drunk jerk in a bar. They do it every freaking weekend.
Now, if I'm incapacitated, if I've had a couple of drinks, yes, I want you to defend me. That's completely different.
Yeah, that's a different situation entirely. Well, not entirely, but I get where you're coming from. My wife rarely got to that point, and she was always able to deal with the random idiot at the bar. And
seriously,
yeah, and
you just stood there and.
What am I going to do? Am I going to undermine? Am I going to undermine my wife by stepping in and saying, "I'm sorry, honey, you're not equipped to deal with this idiot. Let me deal with it for you"? No, she's perfectly capable, and I know if she wants help, she's going to say, "Al, help me out here."
I've kind of been in that same situation, but and sort of left, and not with my wife now, but with previous girlfriends and all that, and it was like
definitely not your ex-wife. You could have let her go.
Yeah, but. It's a drunk jerk kind of deal. I feel, I'm okay. I think you can handle it. I don't think you're gonna have a problem. I'm here if something goes wrong. And oh no, I got chastised afterwards for not standing up for it. It's like, well, wait a minute. If
you want to avoid that situation completely, ask her.
Yeah. How many times did that happen?
I mean, it
was it
like
once or
well, no,
because
when I quit drinking, I quit going to bars.
Okay,
so that was kind of that was kind of a thing.
But I'm going to tell you,
the thing of it is that there's
me a lot.
The role of the male is to cover the female while she's reloading. That's your job.
Yeah, I agree.
That's your job.
I agree. So, but yeah, I'm not.
Well, you're dealing with a woman who knows how to shoot.
Here's the thing.
Well, if she sprays and prays, you just you let her spray and pray, and then you stand up and you make
the women I go out with.
Maybe
it's the danger zone.
Maybe it's the way. Maybe it's the country I was raised in, or the way I was raised.
Very possible.
But anybody I've ever been out with, again, I assume that they are an individual. If they want help, they're going to ask for it. Now, obviously, if it's something, if somebody's like
It's really
pinned them up,
bad,
Yeah, but
then you're going to jump in and do something. But
you're
other than-
British, right?
Yes.
Okay. My
No,
ex,
Spanish.
my ex, keep it up, Mike. My ex was British.
Mhm.
And the day that I met his sister, the first thing she told me is how she had just gotten out of England, came here, and found out that you can't smash people in the face with glass ashtrays.
I know, and it's stupid because here's the thing: if that's the way, I'll deal with a problem that way any day of the week.
Yeah.
Even the bouncers at Barnacles World, they would open doors with people's faces
All the time.
That's the job. That Big Ken, remember Ken, Danny?
Yes, I remember Ken very
A
well.
former Marine. He'd literally
We
pick
had
people up,
we had a
open the door
target
with them.
on
but-
the door.
and
I
it-
mean, it was a joke.
And if that's how Angel wanted to deal with a problem, then more power to her. I'll hand her the freaking glass the prick, and get it over and done with.
I know, but-
But if you want my help, I'm stood right there. Just say your turn.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not gonna undermine her. I'm not gonna
I don't.
try to step in when she's
that
dealing with a
undermining?
situation.
I'm actually going to step away and go, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Now, no, but I'm asking you, and then I'll ask the other Danny, the non-resident Danny. But you
am
first here in the studio.
I am generally a mild-mannered person on this level when you meet me,
Yeah,
but
well, it's the Zoloft.
that too. But when I get mad,
Oh yeah,
it is a completely different.
Yeah.
Did I not just scare the ever living crap out of you and my daughter tonight? Because I haven't had my meds for 2 days, so I'm probably a
that's
little
okay.
bit off the chain.
Oh, I don't know if we should
see.
go
He
there,
won't
but-
even answer.
Yeah.
You're fine, baby.
You look magnificent. No, okay,
I
but
think
no.
that's the answer right there.
Seriously. Okay, so let's say you and Pat are out. Okay, and somebody's like, "Hey, baby," and all that other stuff. Okay. Do you feel like he's undermining you if he just lets you handle it?
No, I'm saying if he steps in, or if
You're
I
right.
would-
You're right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I said that backwards.
In a way, yes. Yes,
Really?
I do. Because
Son of a
first
bitch.
of all,
I hate
I
when
understand women, Mike. I'm
Frickin' hate
sorry.
when you're right. I'm gonna
I
shoot
don't
you.
get to be that evil bitch whenever I want to
Well,
be. So
apparently
this
it's a
is
good thing according to Florida.
I'm like a chained dog. You got to let me off that leash every now and then.
All
I
right,
look forward to those.
before we go to break, non-resident Danny.
I concur
Really?
across the board. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
we
I mean,
go-
Alex knows I bartended for years. Alex saw me in action all
Oh,
the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, we had a bartender over there named Laura. She's still there, and I saw her one time step back away from the bar, from inside the bar, from serving, and I went, "Holy crap! I've heard about how bad this chick is. I'm gonna see it." So I start making my way over there, and I'm on the radio going, "All right, I'm gonna need some help. I'm gonna need some backup." She stood back and she put that foot over the bar just with control and brought it up to this guy's face and brought it down till she could see him. Brought it back up.
Yeah.
The guy walked
Hell,
out.
Danielle's dealt with me many a time when I'm being a drunk jackass.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see that in you.
Yeah, I know women.
Oh,
can be
sweet
a
baby Jesus,
drunken
yes.
Idiot.
I just can't imagine Alex
Mhm.
being.
All right, take us into a break, Michael.
I'm gonna do that. Hey, you know what? The topics are fantastic. I love having the guests we have, and even our non-resident cutie pie. It's the world according to Mike, and when we come back, I got a surprise topic to talk about. I'm gonna figure it out during the break.
Okay.
It's the world according to Mike. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mike, keep your headphones on.
Yeah, and
for
stay
you,
in the mic
anything.
because I've had 2 people now
Okay.
say they can't hear us during the breaks.
I don't know what's going on with my tablet, but it's
Just for the sake of the argument,
Freaking
we'll call me Double D and you can call her D. That way it'll kind of split that up.
I figured Danielle and Danny was.
okay. Is that ever good with
Or
that?
do you go by
Well,
Danny usually?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
in the military, it was
I was-
Tits McGee.
I never called her that, and she can tell you.
You know what?
always
I
called
put
her
tiaras on
Danny.
those puppies, buddy.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's
I always called her Danny. Yeah, she was. The funny thing was my job in Afghanistan required me to. It was insane. I never got to shut off. For like a freaking year. I was just. It just seemed like I never slept. It just seemed like I was always busy, and all that other stuff. And she would be at the craziest time. She'd be in the DFACs. And I'd go in there and just sit down and look at her. And she'd go, "You look tired." And I go, "Yeah, I am. You look tired too." And of course, we're all exhausted. But it was just one of those things that we periodically, maybe once every 2 weeks, once a month.
Do you know why I was always there?
I'm thinking, now I'm guessing, because I don't remember if you told me. I'm thinking one of the reasons why you're in there is because you didn't like the bee hut that you were in.
No, I was perfectly fine with my roommate. The problem was I was always in so much trouble that I seemed to have defect duty so often that there were people who actually thought that was my MOS.
Head counts in MOS now.
God. Well, I only ended up over in the little medical area a few times. And the one time was Sergeant Major Smallwood. It was just screaming at me because my feet, I was walking around, the plantar fasciitis started kicking in, and I'm sitting there because I'd always heard about it. And I'm like, oh, come on, a grown man, it's not going to hurt like that. But then it started happening.
Oh, yeah.
And Glenn Johnson, Master Sergeant Johnson's like, "Mike, you got to go get that checked, dude." And I'm like, I'll be okay. I'm taking my boots off behind my desk and I'm rolling it over frozen water bottles.
Yeah.
And then that one captain that looked like the Predator thing, what was her name? Maybe I shouldn't say that. But she gave me a braces to try to sleep in, which was damn near impossible. So I ended up over there. And remember, she must have been 100 years old. This black woman that was one of our doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was sweet as can be. It was
I can't remember her name.
Witherspoon or something like that.
Oh, no, Witherspoon was the nurse.
The dentist or a nurse. Okay, well, here's what the deal was. Is she goes, "Take off your boots and sit up there." And then she was talking to somebody, and she said, "Watch this. I'm going to demonstrate to you about plantar fasciitis." And I didn't know that's what it was called. My feet just freaking hurt, She took her thumb and ran it down my foot. I flipped out. Mm-hmm. I was squirming so bad. She caught me going over the other side of the gurney. I was trying to get away from her that bad because it hurt. I was absolutely amazed. And that's when I said, "I'm never coming back." And then
you should have come over to my end and over at the physical therapy office.
What was her name? Black hair. She actually works in a hospital in Afghanistan now. I used to hang around with Captain Stahl. Oh, black hair.
Oh, I know. Captain Tellerico?
Tellerico, that was it. She, her and I'd be hanging out, and she would see these, and she would go, "You have got to get these things cut off." And I'd go, "I'm good." And then she would con me into coming over there, and she would get a scalpel and just start cutting all these skin tags off of me.
Well, a minute and a half.
So, yeah, other than that, the hell with y'all.
So you never came to see me in the only office that I was actually able to be normal in.
Man, I tell you what, medical people scare me. They do.
What?
Yeah, man, I'm rearranging your radio.
I could have hooked you up with a pair of socks that would have solved that whole problem, and you could have slept in them.
Who wears socks? I don't wear those. Oh, that's underwear. Never mind. I tell you what, man, and now I take 2,700 milligrams a day of gabapentin to deal with my feet. And now it's all about pain management because they hurt 24/7.
Are you still working on the plantar fasciitis?
Yeah. Jeez. 2,700 milligrams of gabapentin every day.
Other than with the drugs she means.
Wow. No, I'm like,
physical therapist.
I'm going to tell you about a pair of socks you can buy on the internet. They're called Strasbourg socks.
Strasbourg?
Yeah. Yes.
It's
got a little D hook on the end of the toes and a D hook up by the calf.
Right.
And what it does is it stretches your foot because that's the problem.
30 seconds, Mike.
Okay.
You just need to stretch that muscle.
Yes, I do.
The tendons and the muscles in the feet.
I do need to stretch some muscle. I've been turned down twice, or not turned down, but I've 2 dates in the last 3 days.
Strasbourg sock ain't gonna work on that, honey.
It could if you got a real small sock.
Oh wait, no.
Got you back.
Oh, the visuals. I told you I'm a visual person.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Wayne's World party. Excellent. Now we're doing the 5, 4, 3, and then we didn't really say 2 or 1.
God, you even screwed up the lyrics to that, dude.
What? Party time. Wayne's World. That's
Wayne's World. Party time.
Yeah. What did I do wrong there?
You went from Wayne's World straight to excellent.
Yeah, you went from Wayne's World to
You
Bill and
skipped
Ted.
party time entirely.
There's a real good chance y'all are about to see the backside of my ass.
Really?
What? You seemed excited.
I don't know that camera lens has a wide enough angle for that, Michael.
You know,
oh, maybe we can use your drone.
Maybe it's a prostate exam time.
It could be.
Speaking of which,
Do you want to see if I'm dilating?
speaking of that drone, I was flying out there earlier and there were a bunch of geese and I got a little bit nervous.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you something. Did you see where the Dutch military was training eagles?
Yeah, we talked about that last night. That would piss me off.
Oh, yeah. The Dutch military is training eagles to bring down drones, bring down our little commercial drones or resident or I don't know. We're not really.
My people are so cool.
Are you Danish?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen what the Japanese do, have you?
Well, yeah.
They got that flying
anime
net
thing.
No. They got the flying net thing.
Yeah. I've seen that.
They fly over and just snag your shit and off they go.
Look,
So I went the other way from you, actually. I said, well, they wear clogs and dance around maypole, so how smart can they be?
You're talking about people that the first thing we want to do in the morning is get up and put our fingers in a dike.
Hey.
Who doesn't?
There, I got dinging.
Wait a minute. You're well hung.
All right, what's the surprise topic? Did you come up with one?
Absolutely not. It was just because
Okay,
I didn't know what to
never mind
say. God, you always got to pick on me.
Never mind then.
Okay, no. Here's the thing: is you guys really threw me off with that whole. You do feel undermined, okay? And I'm just gonna have to tell you my stories. Is that I'm serious. There's one young lady that I'm telling you right now. She does not know. Is that your dog barking?
Sorry, it's my dog barking.
All right. Trying to ruin my show with dog barking. Okay, she doesn't know which end of this pistol is the dangerous end. Okay, there is no way in the world this woman.
For her.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking not Dane. I'm talking. See, I can tell you.
I don't know. I know.
Danny.
I
Danny,
obviously.
you should feel.
Oh God! I
rejected.
obviously know you're not talking about Danielle.
Yeah.
Who
No, this
are
girl
you talking
this
about?
girl I know. Okay.
Okay, so it's just a random person.
Well, yeah, I don't want to say her name because she might be listening.
All right,
and
fair
I don't
enough.
want her to feel bad. But
Fair
the
enough.
simple fact is she doesn't know.
If she dated you, I guarantee you she's not fucking listening, Michael.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what though, and it's not.
But okay,
not to knock her.
yeah, but I'm saying she would.
Okay,
Look, if somebody says something to her,
but you know what? It's called education.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, look,
it's called education because there's
She's
a lot of
dainty
people.
little thing.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care how dainty it is. My mom lives in a neighborhood. It's a seniors only, and she's surprised by the number of cotton tops that pack like full heat, man.
he went all code on us there.
Yeah,
God,
I was
back
going
in
to
heat.
say there are a handful of girls who like nothing better than to see their man get into a fight, right?
Those are
And
the ones that are on that
handful?
crazy list I was
Yes,
talking about.
They
A
are
handful?
right up there on the crazy
I
scale.
would say
Hey,
the
listen,
majority.
I disagree with that entirely. I've never come across one that was hell bent on getting her date into a fight that night. Well, I've seen them in bars where they'll act up and then immediately tell their boyfriend, now you
What?
have to fight this person and deal with this.
No. Remember we talked about the whole setup to this is that you guys are walking together and somebody starts catcalling or starts being disrespectful at that point. So I understand what you're saying, yeah, and there are of course women like that. But what I'm saying is one, I've never dated another soldier. Okay, so because look, I have all the respect in the world for you guys because of the next topic, but the thing about it is you know I don't know that my first wife was a model from Finland, and I mean a good breeze, a good wind, a gust of wind would have picked her up and brought her to the land of Oz. My second wife, Constance, is 5 foot, nothing. And I mean, she's got a really strong right hand because she used to bowl. My daughter, let's say, will kick your ass, take your name, and then make a decision whether to let you bleed out or not. But the point I'm trying to make is the other women that I've dated, I mean, I can name dozens that I've gone out with that would react completely opposite the way Double D and D are saying that they would feel pissed,
even back before I even thought about going in the military, because everybody knows I enlisted when I was old. I was 34 when I signed that paperwork. Yeah, private grandma. But even before that, the aforementioned British soldier that I used to date years and years ago, he who shall not be named, when we would go into a bar, girls, and you can probably verify this, they hear that he's got a foreign accent, and suddenly he's the hottest thing on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Complete douchebag, but he's the hottest thing on the planet. He was
Alex to a T.
He was
spitting them out like that.
It never failed. There was always some girl that would sit on his lap and slug trail him every time we went to the bar.
I believe it. Okay.
So I gave him the benefit of the doubt. You have to the count of 3 to get that girl off of your lap, and then it falls on to me to defend you because
I mean, I don't think it does. That's a problem with him.
Yeah,
that's definitely a problem with him, and you giving him the benefit of the doubt reinforces that behavior in him. You should never give him the benefit of the doubt in a situation like that. The person that gets punched in that situation is him. You kick him in the balls, you kick him off his bar stool, and you curb stomp his ass.
Oh,
that's what you do.
That's a whole different.
I'm busy trying to catch up how we went from knowing the business end of a firearm back to defending.
He's implying that she was dumb as a post, and he felt like he had to try and control her every move.
But why does it have to be dumb? It didn't mean she was dumb. I'm just saying she was a fragile thing, and she wasn't.
Sorry,
you have
what the hell did you just do, Danny? Did you just squeeze your dog's head?
No, I don't know what they're barking at.
Oh my God! Somebody write down the
time. Try to put a slipper on.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the best course of action
that's a highlight.
Is to just ask the woman, "Do you want to be defended?"
Okay, look, I'm gonna be honest, Double D. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, and Boggs called you something else, by the way. So here's the thing: is that no. The women I'm talking to,
I can't get over how shocked you are that your behavior might be objectionable to a woman.
Not the women I'm going out with. I'm telling you, I wouldn't even ask the women I'm going out with.
Well, okay,
would you like me to take care of this?
But they're too.
They look at me like, "What? Are you stupid?" Yeah.
But the difference in I mean, you're not that much older than me. But the thing of it is there is actually a generation, an era of people that was the accepted norm, that if some guy catcalled your woman, you went over there, it was a throwdown. If somebody grabbed her butt, it wasn't up to her to defend her honor. It was up to you, because that's how it was done. That's how you were raised. I mean, I'm from the South. The biggest thing that hindered me in the military is that I opened doors for lower ranked females. I grew up in the South. That was just something you did. You opened the door for a woman. You said, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Thing. Okay, exactly. But in the military, a sergeant first class doesn't open a door and hold it for a specialist. That's the specialist is supposed to open it and hold it for the sergeant first class.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not supposed to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am to a specialist.
Right.
I'm supposed to say yes, specialist, or no specialist.
Right.
But that's the difference, because I also came from an era that I was brought up with an Irish family of, if somebody touches your brother, your sister, your wife, or your girlfriend, you drive them into the ground like a nail.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we were raised that way also. If there is a physical altercation, obviously,
right.
But again, if it's just a random drunk at a bar, and I'll say harassing, her,
just verbally,
then
not talking about physical.
She dealt with that stuff by herself.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
well, okay, so let's use that as a segue, okay? And let's just say this. Women in the military, okay? Men in the military, the US military, we're obviously brain dead. I know I am. Jesus. Why in God's name would a woman join the military in this country?
Why?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, geez, I mean,
because women can't be patriotic.
That's what. Did you join because you wanted to be patriotic?
I was brought up that I was going to join.
Okay, so that's not patriotic.
No, it is. I
That's
was
duty.
brought up to be very patriotic.
Yeah.
Exactly, but that's the duty of a patriot.
Okay. Now, were you raised that you were going to join the military?
No, I came from a family that was as far from military as possible. There was no military anything in my family until my generation.
Really?
What my grandfather was in the military, but I never met him.
Uh-huh.
He was gone before. There was no military influence in my family.
So why in God's name would a smart woman want to join the military?
Because I wasn't that smart then.
Nah, bullshit. You can try that crap.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say for the same reasons you joined.
I doubt it.
To be honest with you, I was in a dead-end job.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at a $20,000 sign-on bonus just to give up 6 years of my life. So for me, it was a financial move.
Okay. Education?
Education.
Okay.
I got the college benefits out of it. So those are huge motivators to a single mom.
Very good point. Now, were you concerned as a single mom about deployments and what would happen with the baby?
That's why I waited until I was 34. My kids were 16 and 17 when I deployed.
So now, see, now mine was completely different. My family were Sicilian. We are not military.
You joined the wrong army.
Yes, I did. I was going to join the Italian Navy. Those guys got cool uniforms and chicks dig us. But here, I was going to be an attorney, believe it or not. My mother was a U.S. Marshal, and she put herself through night school and everything, and she became an attorney here in Atlanta. She was shot and killed right after I turned 15. So no father was in the picture. So when that happened, my two older brothers went their way, and basically I survived till I was 17. I finished high school, and I went in the military. So at my 15th birthday, which was December 1st, my plans were to go to Georgia Tech, John Marshall Law School, and work in the same firm, a law firm, as a litigator. Okay, December 13th, 12 days later, I had nothing. I'm serious, nothing. I stayed in the house for months until the power had been turned off for over a month. When the water was finally turned off, I had to come clean with my brother, and say, hey, I'm living here by myself, and I can't even flush the toilet no more. So yeah, it's a hard luck story. But so when I went in the military and they were feeding me 3 meals a day, and back then, 1982, 83 timeframe, those were good meals. I mean, how much did you want? All right. So a nice bed. I had a great bed.
You got paid, and you got 3 hots, you got a cot, and you got paid, and you got clothes. Yeah.
And back then you could drink. At 17, 18 years old, you could drink on post. We had little beer gardens, and so everybody else was out waiting to drink, and I'm on pay, the old plastic waxy cups, for a dime getting beers. And there was everything on post back then. There was bowling, there was movie theaters.
Right, there was no need to leave post.
There was no need to leave post as a young private. And the thing about it was it was affordable back then. You could go to the commissary and for $4 buy enough food for a week, to keep in your room. Everybody had beer. We had it made. Jump school, great time. Now, God, if I just think about jump school right now, my back hurts. But back then, it was fun. It was a great time. But here's the thing. Here's what changed. Later on, I got introduced to something that really freaked me out. Women in the military. You got to think where I was, Fort Benning.
Fort Benning's an animal of its own.
You might see a woman in uniform, and you'd go, oh, "She's like a nurse," Well,
then that's how women in the military started. There's always been women in the military.
Remember what nurses wore back then? White uniforms with brass insignia.
Yeah, they wore a nurse's uniform.
They wore a nurse's uniform
with a brass and collar insignia. Yeah. That was it.
And
not all of them.
And now you got to think 82, 83 they did. Now the guys that worked in the medical facilities, they wore khakis with the stripes on their shoulders and their ribbons.
Yeah, they wore Class Bs.
Yeah. So you said that wasn't even military.
That was even in 87. That was going away in 87 and transitioning.
Really? Okay.
So I mean, because when I was at Benning, if you saw a female that was on main post and she had a stroller and she belonged to somebody, that was somebody's dependent.
Yeah.
But and if you saw them in uniform, they worked at the hospital because there was no other place on Fort Benning for a female to be except for jump school or the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Okay. So I go from that. I go through, 11 Bravo stuff and all that other junk. And then I'm selected for 18 Bravo. I'm going to be assigned to 10th. Okay. I'm a weapons guy, and 18 Bravo is a small arms guy. Back then, my actual title was Master Unit Trainer with Soviet Warsaw Pact Small Arms. Okay. So I had to pick up a couple extra MOSs because the logistics was where the real armorers were. And I had to have that title. So I'm bouncing around a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Still not getting near a female. There's,
Yeah, because all of the jobs that you're going to are combat arms related.
Exactly.
So, and it keeps you in a combat arms field.
So then what happens is I get picked up to be General Akers' bodyguard. Okay. Major General Albert Akers. And so I'm his bodyguard. Okay. The driver was a Spec 5, Ed Sherman. Okay. We didn't have PSDs back then. The guy had a bodyguard. He had an adjutant, was a captain, and he had me. Then I went to flight school. There were 2 women in my flight school class. But let me tell you something. They were at the other end of the hall. I mean, I don't even remember their names. Yeah, that's how far segregated they were. Okay, then I go to Germany. Holy crap. They put me in charge of flight operations. I have 2 female flight operations techs that want to take their freaking BDU shirts off all the time because it's hot.
Don't me. I wasn't allowed to take my blocks off.
And then you know what happened for the next 3 years? I watched pilot after pilot after pilot after pilot after pilot lose their bars because they're screwing around with the girls in the unit.
Keep it in your pants.
How are we looking?
We need to go to a break. What are we talking about when we get back?
When we come back, I'm going to ask Double D over here some tough questions about all the sexual harassment, if it's real, if it's fake, and why the hell does our Army keep it a secret? We'll be right back. It's The World According to Mike.
This should be good. Oh, yeah.
Because I know that when I got Mountain Division. Okay.
This is just going to be a short break.
Knew me, so they said Matson's got it.
He's ignoring his microphone again.
So I'm flight operations again. I'm working at Griffiths Air Force Base, which was where they had Woodstock 2, and that's where the SAC fighters, the B-52s, were. Yes, I guess the female, or I guess the flight operations technician position appealed to women. I don't know why. I mean, but it just, when I got there, I had like 5.
There wasn't a whole lot. When I went in, women are still limited on what they can choose.
Well, not now. Hell, women can go be Rangers and SEALs and.
Well, not now, but when I enlisted
and
10 years ago, even women were still.
How
well, I mean, and 10 years ago, it was the medical field, it was maintenance, it was aviation,
and that was for the in maintenance
and stuff. So there wasn't necessarily a big broad field, and I mean now they're opened up to all the combat arms MOSs. That's a whole different story. We don't need to discuss that because that'll take us 4 hours one night.
I'm just good at getting shit tangled up.
Oh yeah,
Personal Administration Center.
right.
That's where the pretty girls were.
Well, I know. I mean, your brigade, your brigade person, your brigade pack office had, but that's when we had soldiers taking care of soldiers. That's where, if you had a finance problem, if you had a finance and pay problem, you went to a finance and pay clerk. Now you go to some civilian who goes, you know what? You're the third person I've seen in the past 6 hours, and I'm fixing to go home, and I don't want to deal with your crap. So, they slough you off. And you never get anything taken care of. That's the problem of the military, is we've gotten away from soldiers taking care of soldiers. But
Mike.
Okay, here's the thing. You know this, and you know this, but the rest of the world doesn't know this. The sexual harassment that goes on way past just ass grabbing and
it's there's some horrendous shit that goes on.
Rampant.
Yes.
And overseas, I'm not talking about Germany as much as I am like Southwest Asia. Man, oh man. Absolutely insane.
Well, and I mean, and there's not so much the ass grabbing, the physical part of it. There's a lot of implied. There's a lot of, you need to sleep with the commander, or you need to sleep with me. There's a lot of the quid pro quo.
Oh yeah,
maneuver in the military. But there's so much more verbal. That it's insane. I mean, that's the insanity part to it, is the amount of verbal sexual harassment that goes on, and I was just joking.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean that's a double-edged sword, because I, as a female,
1 minute,
living in a male environment,
right,
was a huge participant in that. So I can't say that the men are wrong for sexual innuendos and stuff like that, when I was just as bad as that.
Right. But
where it draws the line is when it affects your job, when somebody threatens your job.
Well, it also affects when you say things like, just be honest, you're going over there to be a prostitute. You're just going over to make money on your back. That's an unacceptable statement.
We'll have to be careful about names.
Yeah. That's an unacceptable statement from an NCO, period. To any soldier. You don't say that to a soldier.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
you don't sit in a restaurant and say, so where do you hide your dick? To a female soldier.
Or I mean,
you don't say things like that.
I'd say it to Alex's date, because he's not going to step in and defend her.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2.
And we're back. And boy, I tell you what, if you don't watch us on YouTube, you're missing some of the best stuff ever. We'll try to get you caught up. We're talking about females in the military, and I kind of brought it to a position because one of my last deals was I was flight operations in New York for the 10th Mountain Division. I had it ranged anywhere from 4 to 5 female flight operations technicians, and they were always wanting to take their BDU covers off. I wore a flight suit, so I didn't care. And the thing about it, if you don't know in the military, if one's going to take it off, then they all have to take it off. They all got to leave it on. They all got to take it off. So they would get together and pretty much bum rush me in my office and go, "Oh, Mr. Madsen, we want to take off." So me being completely okay with that, I'd agree to it. But the point I was trying to make before that was, how many pilots did I see go down? And I ain't talking about, going down. I'm talking about
they burning in.
Yeah, flaming. And the reason being is because one, pilots, there's a stigmatism around pilots. When you're in aviation, one, people think you're smart. Two, people think you're just a party animal. Let me go ahead.
We've all watched the movie Top Gun.
Well, I was about to say, let me go ahead and not dismay any of those, because they're both true.
Exactly.
And we partied like crazy. But we were warrant officers and officers. Okay. Different thing. And Patrick brought it up during the break, because he was talking about when an NCO, and that's for civilians, it's a non-commissioned officer, when an NCO, basically for layman terms, a sergeant, is talking to a lower enlisted person, every word out of your mouth is got to be clear and concise, because you owe it to that soldier to be clear and concise. So I'm going to let you take it a little bit because of what you said, and it's okay. I mean, it's an adult show. So,
right. Well, I mean, it was a comment made by an NCO to a specialist, and the specialist was trying to process out for a leave of absence for a contract job overseas. The unit was dragging their feet. Soldier was calling. The one time that the soldier, and it was like, okay, look, I'll take you down and get your equipment turned in at CIF, Central Issue Facility. She's making the phone call. The sergeant says, look, just tell me, you're going overseas to make money on your back. You're just going over there to be a prostitute. Now, I don't care, joking or not, that's not a joke. That's not, as an NCO, you can't not be professional when dealing with lower enlisted soldiers at any point in time. You shouldn't even be doing it with the same level of enlistment or above you. You're supposed to be a professional. You represent a huge portion of the military, and a portion of the military that gets things done, and that loses respect quickly. And the same NCO at a different location, a different soldier asked a soldier where she kept her penis.
Yeah.
And asked it and made that statement in front of other NCOs who just were like, oh man, I can't believe you said that.
No.
Really?
All right. So now I'm going to throw this over to Double D, and I'm going to ask you it this way. Being a woman, okay, in the military, and in my locker or in my, I don't know, whatever, I've got a picture of a babe, a calendar babe. Does that offend you?
No.
Why did the military make me take them all down then?
Because they insist on treating women like delicate little flowers.
Exactly.
Well, no,
yes, they do. Because I can't tell you how many times we had to sit through these stupid meetings about how we were going to be raped constantly in Afghanistan. I tried. It never happened. Seriously, if you couldn't go anywhere without a battle buddy because you're going to be raped. I have an M4 rifle and 6 magazines, not to mention the knives that I have on me, and a really bad case of attitude. And they're telling me that I'm going to be raped if I walk 30 feet to the latrine without a battle buddy.
Now, do you think there is a lot of sexual harassment and inappropriate behavior going on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you're kind of throwing a mixed signal here. Maybe it's just me.
Well,
but
and as far as the picture and the locker is concerned, and it doesn't apply to all females, but there was a female that said that offends me because you have a naked woman in your locker. Now, I can kind of relate this to a different story. I used to work in a hospital. I worked around a lot of nurses. I was an ER tech. I'm sitting in the break room eating my lunch by myself when in comes what everybody referred to as the man-hater club. These were all the divorcees. All right. Mm-hmm. And they immediately start in on men and looking at Playboys and penthouses and stuff like that. I kept my mouth shut. I was like, this is not a conversation I need to be involved in. But as time progressed, there was no way I was getting out because they were between me and the door. And I finally just piped up and I said, you know what, ladies? What I have come to learn is that you are jealous. You are jealous of a piece of paper. Geez. You are jealous of a picture.
Oh, you got fired.
No. Believe it or not, I actually gained the respect of several nurses there. I was like, you are all attractive, but you feel that you have to compete with an airbrushed picture in a magazine because your husband finds it attractive. Why don't you make yourself attractive to him and not try to compete with a magazine? And basically, I just told him, You're jealous of something that's not even real. It's fake.
Oh boy, but Danny, non-resident Danny. Do you work with men? Do you have men in your office?
Some, yes. I don't work in the office a lot. I'm a realtor, so I work from home.
Okay, but I mean, still, I'm sure with the broker, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Now, do you get do you get inappropriate behavior from any of these guys?
No, I'm far and away the most inappropriate person in the office.
I'll vouch for that.
Absolutely.
I like her.
You know what? I tell you
But
what.
again, another intelligent, strong woman
Right.
who doesn't need to be treated like a delicate little flower
Hey, man.
by men that don't understand this.
The thing with the military is they did not come to my defense when I went to them with a report that was legitimate.
Okay.
But
Now, why didn't they, Danny? Seriously. What?
Because I don't want to say, I don't want to give it away too much, but the people that I was dealing with were people that, to me, it felt like more of a brotherhood. The command was a tighter knit family than what I was to the unit.
Very good analogy. Seriously. That makes sense. And you know what? I think that's probably the biggest problem. And I can tell you right now, I know of numerous times when women complained about inappropriate sexual behavior because we used to get together and get, flat ass drunk, out of our minds drunk. And there were guys that took advantage of girls that, at these parties, especially when I lived in Germany, there was plenty of civilian girls that used to kind of hang around with the group too, And, but here's the thing is that I don't know if you would say it's a good old boy thing as much as it is, man, guys would lie. Flat lie about what had happened.
No, it's
for other guys.
It's a good old boy system because the difference is that, like, I supported that soldier. I told that soldier, I said, this is what you need to do. You need to this needs to be addressed. You need to take it through your chain of command. Right. I know that the chain of command is part of the involved problem, but this is the proper step. And then you go all the way up as far as you can go, and then you go to the IG's office and you file an IG complaint about it, and it opens an official investigation, and it gets taken care of. It gets done. Something gets done.
Even going that far, nothing was done for it.
Right. But what happened was there's a stumbling block because there's the good old boy network, and what they did is they can go and they can interject in a higher location. We have a problem with this soldier. This soldier is a problem child. They're just pieces of shit. We're trying to get rid of them anyway. We're not gonna have them re-enlist or anything like that. They're gonna come squabbling about this little problem. And just, so what they've done is they've gotten their story in up higher. So by the time you get there,
it's already in place.
The seed's already been planted.
Yeah.
That's where I was going to head. I was going to say, I think it's an institutional problem.
It is.
They don't want women there anyway.
Well, so no, it's not that. It's not that they don't want women there. It's not, I wouldn't say that they don't want women there. Okay. Now,
they don't want non-compliant women.
I was about to say they don't want women there that are going to tell on them.
Right. Okay. But I came up as an 11 Bravo. We did not work with women. There were no women in 11B. And there's a big, huge issue about women in the combat arms now. That needs to be a separate discussion on a different kind of day.
We don't even agree.
But there are definitely jobs that women can perform, and they probably perform them better than most men. And I don't have a problem with that. More power to them. I'm not all about it. The issue comes in where if you can't do the right thing, if you can't be the NCO that you think you are, which is, no one is more professional than I.
Right. Which, if you don't know, that's part of our creed or part of the NCO creed.
So the soldier comes first. And if the soldier has a problem, it's your job as an NCO to fix that problem, to take care of that problem. So if you as an NCO are creating the problem and then allowing, and other NCOs are enabling that, they're just as guilty at the problem as you are. And there's where we have the good old boy network, because we don't want Bobby Joe over here getting busted because Bobby Joe's good for us. We like Bobby Joe. He does everything we want him to do. He performs so well.
Yeah.
He's
a good soldier.
Oh, he's such a great soldier. Bobby Joe's an idiot who just happens to stumble into the right place at the right time all the time.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the last battering of training that came out was the sharp training, and it had all the big dogs were pushing it. And what was so funny was all the big dogs were pushing this. Sergeant Major of the Army, all these guys are pushing this training all the way down to the lowest level. Okay. Who are the ones getting busted for the sexual harassment and the sexual fraternization?
The high rankings,
the captains and above. And the sharp training had no officers in it.
Exactly.
They might add a lieutenant here and there, but it was all NCOs and below.
Right.
Isn't that okay? And then, of course, what happened with Petraeus, with General Petraeus and his little girlfriend issue, not the secret stuff, but just having a girlfriend. That just set it afire. And Alex or Xander being outside of it,
but he said back in the 90s when the Sergeant Major of the Army got prosecuted by 4 females for sexual harassment from when he was a drill sergeant E5.
Right.
Okay, it's a problem. It's always a problem, and the only way that you take care of the problem is you start showing that you're conducting and you mean business.
It's got to start at the lower levels because these guys are getting away with it until they're colonels and majors and generals.
Man, I tell you what. Do you remember the one extremely high-ranking individual in Afghanistan that was running a brothel?
I do, as a matter of fact, because I've seen those girls a million times in the DFAC.
Yeah. So they
imports.
This guy was running a brothel
on post
on our little forward operating base. It was crazy. Stuff you see in movies, Man,
I find it interesting that you have a lady here who has experience of it, but it's the 2 guys who are analyzing the problem. I'd like to hear from you what you think the institutional problems are inherent in the military for women.
There is no way for women to report this that doesn't involve their immediate chain of command.
Okay.
And the chain of command doesn't want to hear what's really going on in the lower ranks. They really don't.
Because they feel it would undermine the system as a whole.
It would tear the unit apart.
Okay, so it
undermines the authority of the command system.
The issue that I had, I'm a very huge advocate of the you don't crap where you eat scenario. And so I would never have engaged in any kind of contact with anybody in my unit. No physical contact. I was, however, a young-ish fit from basic training, very, very proud of my body at the time. So I had no problem being a part of the male mentality of, I guess, interacting in a verbal sense.
Sure.
But there were males that would request naked pictures constantly. And I would tell them, no. First of all, a lot of these men were married, and some of them even married to people in my unit. So that to me is as far, that's crazy town, and I don't want to live there. So I stayed away from that.
She's the mayor.
So this continued through the entire time I was in this unit. For 6 years, I tolerated this person asking me repeatedly over and over again for naked pictures and saying no every single time, never once sending this person a picture. And it got to the point where the requests were, would I sleep with this person? Would I sleep with this person? This person wanted to sleep with me. And they were really pushing to get me to sleep with somebody in the unit. And I didn't want to be that girl. I didn't want to get passed through the unit. Outside of my unit, I didn't care. I'm sure you've heard stories everybody else has.
I make them up. There's a couple stories I made up about you.
Man, if I had half the fun of the stuff that I heard.
I know, me too.
The pressure being put on you to do that, was it coming from superiors?
It was coming from NCOs in my unit.
Yeah.
And towards the end, when I wasn't giving in, and then it was found out that I was in a relationship with somebody who was not in my unit. When Pat and I met, the questions got worse.
They viewed you as if you were there for their amusement.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And any complaints, and obviously their superiors probably feel the exact same way.
Well, now you got to understand the command structure looks at it this way, just so you understand. The one reason they don't want the report to go up is because a commander is basically held responsible for everything that happens within his unit, which is complete nonsense. But so if it went up, he's a bad commander.
This person,
honestly,
since
so
I've
be it.
left, this person that I'm talking about has had complaints filed against him from other females. I warned the other females that were new to the unit that to stay away from these two particular individuals and what they were capable of. I was getting the worst of the worst equipment. I was getting the worst of the worst jobs.
It just sucks, man.
They made it.
And
Mike,
not only did they
I'll let you in on a little secret then. That commander, if he was allowing this to happen, was a bad commander.
He knew.
He was a piece of shit.
Alex, I just want you to know fully that in the United States Army, there are no bad commanders. You were just mistaken.
Yeah. But not only did they target her when they found out that she's going to be getting out, then they started turning their attention towards me.
Yeah, it's that whole. I mean, it happens in civilian life. It's called that whistleblower,
right?
The whistleblower mentality or whatever.
I know, but
people are victimized and they're destroyed over things like this.
And this is why I can't keep a job now, because at the first sign of anybody telling me, "Oh, you can't," or any kind of harassment in any sense, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That's my PTSD right there, summed up.
Makes sense.
There you go.
Hey, we
have a couple of minutes left, is all.
Okay. I mean, the main thing I wanted to close out with here tonight is I know this isn't a snappy, happy freaking topic to talk about, but with a big change coming up in our country, with which my personal opinion is Trump. I know that Xander's big on Rubio, and Rubio's got a lot of momentum right now. I don't know who you guys are rah-rah-reeing for, but regardless, there's a huge change coming up, because right now in our country, there's a president visiting a mosque that is known for involving themselves with terrorists. And when he's asked about it, he says, "Oh, we've got to make friends with them. We've got to be nice and cuddly and all that other stuff." And look, I'm a big believer in freedom of religion is freedom of religion, but terrorist and religion, you see what I'm saying, to me are two very different things. So as the change comes about, I think people are the good people. And I'm going to just go ahead and say us. The good people are the ones that are going to change things in corporate America, in the military, in whatever other areas you want to talk about, because it truthfully has gotten to a point. I'm not going to lie. When I had all those female flight techs, I tiptoed around like freaking Twala Twarp and freaking Michael Baryshnikov, man.
Yeah, because really, I mean, they're and not to demean the subject of sexual harassment or anything like that, but there has become a level of
I know, conflict avoidance. What would you call it?
You can't be thin-skinned as a female in the military.
You can't be
that.
thin-skinned, period, in the military. Male or female.
Anywhere anymore.
Okay. I mean, so right. And really, it's that you can't talk to me. And I sat in a human resources class one day when they were talking about harassment. It's now lumped into harassment.
Well, yeah, because
they were like, well, you can't, if they're a rookie, you can't call them a rookie. I'm like, I'll call them a rookie if I damn want to. That's our business. Well, you can't make them do this, that, and the other. Well, why not? Well, that's harassment. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's called earning your dues and being in the area. The other thing too is it's like they said, well, you can't call them the rookie. And I'm like, since when does somebody's personal feelings interfere with my First Amendment right of freedom of speech?
Well, I
mean, if we're going to go out,
can you yell fire in a theater?
That's
no, but you can yell dinner's ready in a PF Chang's when the fire alarm goes off.
And that's actually a case law as to why you can't yell fire in a theater. I mean, but that's that's maybe inappropriate use of the First Amendment right versus, hey,
so I mean, if a guy's stomping on the flag, you get mad about it?
oh hell yeah.
Okay. Well, it's his First Amendment right.
No, there's nothing that's a First Amendment right about stepping on the flag.
Except that it is.
There's actually laws against it.
For the military, there's the flag code. There's no law that prevents citizen from burning the flag.
Yes, there is too.
No, it was overruled. It was overruled.
Yeah, really? Court, yeah. Not in my freaking country.
Well, listen. Right.
I don't give a shit what that liberal retard Supreme Court of the pussified United States is.
Right.
But I'll tell you right now,
took me 2 hours.
If I sit there and see some son of a bitch stepping on the flag, I'll break their kneecap.
Yeah, and I don't blame
that comes up there and says, "You've assaulted them," I'm going to beat the shit out of him because it's going to be like, you allowed this to happen.
Well, you
are in violation of
I hear where you're coming from.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America.
I hear where you're coming from. You might not want to go that far with it because obviously you're the one that ends up in jail in that situation. And I agree with you. I believe we should respect the flag.
You know,
I think we should bring back pledging allegiance.
I'll tell you what. You know what? If you want to step on the flag, there was a phrase made by John Wayne. If you want to be stupid, you better be tough.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Yeah.
Step on the flag
there's always
because there's a video
there.
there's a video of a wounded veteran who takes his cane and beats the shit out of kids and stepping on the flag.
Yeah,
Guess what?
I'd
have been helping his ass out.
Okay, wait.
That'll happen every time, and that's why I say,
And these are isolated events, but let's take a jump to what's going on in Europe, what's coming here with the next president. Let me explain something to you. There are going to be Muslims that are going to be in full force. I'm not talking about 20 or 30 or 100 or 200 or 1,000. I'm talking about 100,000 people that practice a different religion marching up and down the streets of our cities saying that they prefer Sharia law to constitutional law.
Let her hurry up and happen.
No, wait. Is that going... What about freedom of religion?
Mike, we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
I got to go.
So, hey... That's, you know what? Next week, by God.
I won't be able to be here next week, but maybe the week after.
Still Point is a rock and roll band from Stone Mountain area. They're going to be coming in next week and having some fun with us. Their practice runs till now, so I couldn't really call them while we were live. I'll call them on the way home, I guess. But hey, Mr. Kelley, Mrs. Kelley, thank you so very much. Just great discussion. I love talking with soldiers. I really do. If I'm stuck here with him, I go home and my hair hurts. Non-resident Danny, you do know I love you, right? You know I love you.
Of course, I love you too.
Okay, see, that's so cool. Xander, everybody thinks you and I hate each other, and I try to explain to him that during the day we talk and text, and we're actually I would consider him to be one of my closer friends, which is scary at every note. But if you don't have a drone, you're lame. Drones are the thing, man.
Get a drone.
Get a drone. And because we're going to start flying together. It's starting to happen. Today, some geese almost attacked his drone, so he brought it back.
Yeah, I got nervous.
He's starting to feel it. He's starting to feel it a little bit. Once he has to repair something. All right, we got to go. This is The World According. Mike, thank you so very much for listening. We'll be back next Wednesday. Hey, the morning show, 7:30 to God knows 10:30 these days with DJ Scotty and the Fun Group. Xander Mack on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. with Tech Talk, where he usually talks about stuff that we're going to talk about on my show. Yeah. And then, of course, The World According to Mike next Wednesday with Still Point. Rock and roll, baby. Thank you very much. It's The World According to Mike. We're out of here.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Good.
Shoot.
All right. Dan, Danny's gone.
She's like,